This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics. I'm Roby Brock, joined by John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me. First question, yes.
First question, Clorox or Lysol? Which one do you prefer?
You know, there are people. There are some people beginning to say, why is the press fascinated with, media fascinated with this? And Dr. What's her name?
Dr. Birx.
Birx, B-I-R-X, as I understand. She's dismayed that this is a 72, now 96-hour thing. It's not the media that's fascinated, it's the people. The people are just fascinated that he would riff about such an odd thing, and it's easy for jokes. I mean, it's the first thing that comes to. My favorite is Trump's plan, which I made up. Trump's plan for opening bars is to open them, and anybody who coughs gets a Clorox and tonic comped by the bar. You know, I think that's or Lysol.
Do you think that idea that you've just come up with is genius enough to win you a Nobel Prize?
Nobel Prize. Did you see the president tweets? You did. The tweets yesterday?
I have. I've been reading them. They've been prolific. There's been a lot of them lately. So.
Yesterday was his lovely wife's 50th birthday, and he spent it obsessing for some reason on what he initially called a Nobel Prize for journalists, misstating the Nobel Prize and apparently confusing it with the Pulitzer Prize, all under the theme that people get it who don't deserve it, and he hasn't received his, and the media is horrible. And I just I retweeted him and said, your president is having an episode this afternoon. He has these from time to time. It's a very strange time. And I'll just tell you this, my column tomorrow tries to explain to people, I advocate paying him no attention, but I advocate doing a news story every time he says one of these wild things. Pay him no attention because it's all going to be taken back within 24 hours and just become something that we joke about. But it's got to go in a news story because he is the president and he's doing these things, and we need to keep a record of it in case we get to have an election in November and it might matter to somebody or to history. So that's what I'm trying to explain tomorrow.
I would argue too, as well as that we are joking about all that. These are serious comments coming from the President of the United States.
There was a time that a president with his bully pulpit in the White House press room making comments, riffing on strange things, would really be a big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I interrupted you.
And I'm past the point of just saying you got to look over that stuff. It's just who he is, because it is more than that. He is the president of the United States. What he says does influence some people, and it's important what the president says, particularly in a pandemic, in a crisis situation like we're in.
Okay, I may have a slightly different view. It's news. It has to be recorded. I no longer believe much of anything that he says or tweets is important in the way that news is what happened. Importance is how what happens ages, you know? Mm-hmm. And what he says, well, that's news. He's just up there talking about injecting bleach, essentially, as a possibility. And this is like podium policy and extemporaneous, and we're not supposed to do it, but that he talks about it is news. But it's not really important because it's taken back by the next day, it's like, I'll say this, it's news is that the Cardinals won the 6th game of the World Series. Importance is that the Yankees won the 7th. You know, it's a one-day thing that's news, but it doesn't age well. You see?
That's a good analogy.
Well,
you should work that into a column somewhere.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
If I keep talking, I'm not going to have any column left. Let's get to something else.
President Trump has decided, or at least we are reading reports that he's decided to stop having press conferences. You think this is a good idea?
Yeah. It would, if it could be applied retroactively, that would be even better. Weeks ago, when this thing was just starting, his supportive editorialist at no less than the Wall Street Journal said, Mr. President, let the experts speak about this. You cannot deal with this yelling fake news and giving nicknames to Schumer and your detractors. You can't do it. You don't know what you're talking about, so let the people who do handle the briefings. Obviously, he couldn't do that because of his love for attention, and for a while he was thrilled with the ratings for his briefings. But what has happened now is that the Republicans, apparently, what you read in the non-fake news, in my view, is that the Republicans and the pollsters and the consultants and the members of Congress have said, stop. This is hurting us. Have you seen Michigan poll? You're down 8. Pennsylvania, you're down 8. Wisconsin, you're down 4. This is dragging all of us down. Stop doing it. So I think that's why he's doing it. It's all about him and the politics and being talked into not doing what he's been doing. So yeah, it's smart.
There's a leaked GOP memo that suggests to shift the blame to China,
Right.
and not that there isn't some blame
Very
that
good segue.
should be placed
Yes.
on China. I mean, this is
Sure.
where it originated. But there is a lack of, I think, firm evidence as to where it started in China. There's the conspiracy theory that it started in a lab. There's the theory that it started in a wet market. Who knows?
But we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know what we don't know.
But we do see a lot of Republicans, particularly Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, kind of leading the charge on this theory that it is China's fault in all of this. Is he parroting Republican talking points, or do you think he really believes that?
The one thing I'll give Tom Cotton credit for is being principled about his very simplistic worldview. And to be as smart as he is, and as well educated, and as worldly as he is, and as accomplished as he is at a young age, and elite education, I believe he believed from the outset that the world is a Western TV show from the 50s in America. You got a good guy who's clear, it's Matt Dillon or it's Ben Cartwright, and then you got the villains. And America is good, period. And everybody else is bad. And if we get a virus, it's not our fault, it's somebody else's fault. And it's not just somebody else's fault, but they're a villain, and they must have done something deliberate or mean or conspiratorial or horrible to allow that to happen to us in our, I mean, you just don't do Matt Dillon and Ben Cartwright that way. That's how he sees the world.
Right.
And I think he truly sees it that way. He sees no nuance in international relationship. He sees no subtlety to any of this. And so he just goes instantly. Not just it came from China and we need to look at this. We need it's the Chinese virus. They did it to us on purpose. They lied about it. And we're going to have, and we got to.
There needs to be retribution.
Retribution of some form. And I think that's going to be kind of a popular view post-corona virus, if we ever get there. Every nation for yourself. Isolationism will become a thing again, I think. But no, I think I give him credit for really thinking that. I am curious that he has such a simplistic view. And yesterday, he seemed to be saying we got to quit letting smart young people from China come to our wonderful colleges unless they just study Shakespeare, because we're teaching them science and math and technology, and look what they're doing. They're going to their labs and concocting things that kill us. We don't know that. A senator ought to have some precision about what he says. If his view is this bears investigating, we need congressional hearings on what China did. We need hearings on the World Health Organization and whether they covered it up. We need to engage our allies to try to put pressure, to find out and to sanction if necessary. All that's fine. But for a senator from Arkansas to say you can't come here and get a good education, when we had a senator from Arkansas once named Fulbright who had a famous international scholarship program, and to see it that simplistically baffles me. It truly does.
You're on a pop culture roll here. You got Bonanza, and you got Gunsmoke, and you got the Cardinals and the Yankees. You're in rare form today.
Well, there's not much to do except sit around the house and think of these things.
Asa Hutchinson, our governor, has said May 4th will be some sort of starting point for some businesses to return to normalcy. He's not laid out more of the plan beyond that. Is May 4th too soon?
You asked me that last week, and I said I have no
Is it still too soon?
credential at all, but let me say definitively it is too soon. That was my answer, and I still go with that. However, not to correct you, but just to have a little dialogue here, I sense from Asa, May 4th is when he intends to have formulated a phase in and to begin announcing things that will happen later if people will meet the guidelines and restrictions.
I agree with you. It's about managing expectations, and I think that May 4th date has gotten embedded in some people's minds of, oh, we're going to be able to open for business on May 4th, and subsequently I've seen him speak to that a little bit more.
Didn't you have a guest column on your website?
Yeah, I think it was his weekly column.
Oh, was it?
He
He just ran it? Yeah, okay. And he's sort of saying that, but yeah, he's always trying to finesse the conservative mantras with the pragmatic, more moderate reality. And this is the case. Yeah, May 4th has been set, so we're going to be talking, so May 4th it is, and May 4th is when I'm going to tell you that May 5th, I've already said May 15th, the dentists can start back if they'll do a lot of things. They go first, and then by May 29th, maybe we'll let you get a haircut, but only if the barbers will do this, and then it's going to be phased in a way that's, we hope will be cautious and can synchronize our good behavior in limiting the virus with restarting the economy. He wants to do it, and he may be intentionally giving the appearance that May 4th is like the day to look forward to. It's not. It's the day to advance a very cautious, incremental, still highly restricted relaunch. That's what we're going to go through. I have been telling people, somebody said, what's your magic date? And I said, well, it's not Memorial Day. Maybe July 4th. Maybe we can get out and have a picnic July 4th. No. The summer is going to be face masks and distancing and limited activity. Steadily increasing. We hope to enough to keep people from freaking out and keep people in business. But I think we are months away from any hope of actual normalcy. And I think Asa will have us later than the Oklahomas and the Georgias.
Nothing but good news from John Brummett today.
Well, it's good news if we can synchronize virus protection with an orderly relaunching of our economy, isn't it?
I agree.
I mean, it would be better news if we could just all start
There's no vaccine and we don't have widespread testing. Those are the two keys to making this move.
What do they call it? The
quickly.
new thing, contact tracing. Mm-hmm. I mean, where you can just follow exponentially this person, that person, that. For some reason, Tom Cotton's greatest country in the world can't test to the extent that it needs to test. So maybe he could fix that while he's limiting Chinese higher education.
He's John Brummett with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Always good to be with you.
You bet.
Thank you. That's all for today's program. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.
You'll find us at the end of a lot of long country roads, covering over 60% of the great state of Arkansas. Our 17 electric distribution cooperatives are working day and night to provide reliable, affordable power to over 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses, just like yours. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, your local energy partners.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.